PNGTV Live News Bulletin, I'm Belinda Kora. Police in NCD are still to establish the motive behind the shooting at the barracks Foodwell last night, which has left two young innocent civilians injured after the ordeal. This was confirmed by NCD Police Boss Pero Endrano during a briefing with media. One witness tells PNGTV Live, and I quote, "There were two Asian men arguing, I think. They work for Foodwell and they had guns. Our local guards ran in when they heard the shots and helped us out," unquote. The witness continues, and I quote, "I ran off helping mothers with children and used the back door as an escape. Police arrived some 30 minutes later," unquote. She remains traumatized. Mr. Endrano says around 7 p.m. last night there was an argument between two Filipino security personnel employed by the firm Dragon Security, which manages the barracks Foodwell. The argument occurred inside the shopping center, which was still occupied by several last-minute shoppers. According to police reports, one of the two foreign security personnel then pulled out his pistol and shot at his colleague and continued to shoot at him even after he had collapsed on the floor.
The police have carried on the investigation since yesterday. And as we speak, witnesses are being interviewed to build up the case of that incident.
The 41-year-old suspect from the Philippines is now behind bars and has been charged for one count of willful murder. Mr. Endrano said he could not give a time frame for the investigation by his CID officers, as he says he did not want the investigation to be rushed at this stage.
So do you understand that pressurizing police to give you something and giving a deadline is not good for investigation? I believe our citizens are mindful of that, and they would understand that. Just when police is ready with some information, and we should be giving you something. And
the body of the murdered foreign security personnel is now at the funeral home. Meanwhile, also today, families of police officers, including alleged outsiders, refused to move out of a condemned single-quarter barracks located within the Gordon Police Barracks this morning here in NCD. They say they have nowhere else to go after they were instructed to leave the two buildings that have been declared unsafe for families to reside in. While the previous occupants of police officers and their families have been moved out to new homes at Bomana, several continue to occupy these rooms. Senior police officers within the NCD command were present to address the issue with officers and their families as it tries to deal with a shortage of housing for police officers in NCD itself.
In NCD, the others have come at their own will, self-transferred in here, and have found themselves places to accommodate themselves. So these are people who will have to find or resort back to where they came from.
The second House Place real estate show is set to be staged in June. Last night saw the launching of this year's show with the sale of exhibition booths now open. Gregory Avira with this report.
Last year's show drew in close to 3,000 international and local visitors over a two-day event. Following the success, organizers plan to make the 2018 show even bigger and better. House Place General Manager Tom Snelling, while launching the show, pointed out new inclusions which are aimed at getting more exhibitions.
We're going to be putting in some additional tiers that we didn't have last year. We've got a platinum booth, which is a third larger than the gold. And we're going to have a diamond booth, which is going to be double the size of the gold.
Potential exhibitors present at the launching were given an opportunity to register their booth at 5% discount. Age Patana from the Glencar Group was the first to register. It tells PNGTV Live the turnout at their booth in last year's show was good, so they have decided to participate this year as well.
The exhibition was very successful, and I think very successful with the turnout of people that actually arrived at the exhibition. The quality of leads generated from, I believe, from every single exhibitor inside of that took part in the exhibition. It really turned out well and very, very successful for the first event.
The event is set to take place on the 1st and 2nd of June at the Sir John Gais Indoor Stadium. Gregory Avira, PNGTV Live.
And with the unveiling by the National Mapping Bureau of the Geospatial Mapping System for APEC, there is belief and enthusiasm that the system will have huge potential in developing the country when APEC is over. Kaligan Tanda reports.
APEC has been the catalyst for the initiation of the Geospatial Intelligence System, which would have otherwise remained unnoticed. According to the Director for APEC Partner Engagement and Security, Ian Jinga, there are many practical uses for the system after APEC.
Town planning, forestry, per square kilometers, how much logs are we, forest are we talking about? Climate change, the infrastructure, the roads, bridges, our borders, we need to map out the borders. This capability provides us that opportunity to remap our international borders right now. Heaps and heaps of civilian application.
The head of the Mapping Bureau, Michael Gideon, believes the system will greatly assist with the planning of extension or expansion of provincial towns throughout the country.
You look at all the provinces and governors looking for ways to expand their town planning and all that stuff. And one of them is the data. So that data, aerial photos of all the towns and major areas will assist the extension of planning for urban development. You can't develop the place unless you have a good planning.
Apart from the aerial views, the new system also gives 360-degree views of certain points which have been surveyed and have had that data uploaded to the system. NGIS, the contractors who developed and established the geospatial mapping system, say the applications are vast and can range from addressing traffic congestion to having land information systems as to how certain parcels of land are allowed to be used. NGIS senior consultant Moreno Mataboni believes that data is the key, and mapping is about how well the data is presented.
So, it's like a picture tells a much better story than a piece of paper with lots of words on it. And if you've got that data, whatever that might be, that might even be crime data, that might be data about where things like services are, water meters, water pipes, gas pipes, all that. If you've got that data, you can display it on a map.
Staff from the Mapping Bureau are currently undergoing training conducted by NGIS, an Australian company contracted to set up the Geospatial Intelligence System. NGIS currently runs the training and monitoring program for staff of the Mapping Bureau, which will continue for the next 3 years. Kalagantanda, PNGTV Live.
Quality education at an early age can go a long way in producing well-educated citizens in any working environment. With this in mind, the Community Learning Center, or CLC TISA program, today saw the passing out of 59 teachers, including 9 males. The teacher program or teacher training program is designed to provide teacher training and workshops for community learning centers in rural, remote and marginalized communities. Quentin Anaime with this report.
The CLC TISA program is run by Digital PNG Foundation in collaboration with the 4L Training and Consultancy and the Bilum Books Phonics, a publisher of teaching materials. The program has been running for 7 years now, graduating 260 teachers, teaching at 43 community learning centers in the nation's capital, Central and Gulf Province. The teachers undergo training on classroom management, interactive interpersonal relations, lesson planning, health and hygiene, basic numeracy and literacy or phonics lessons. Founder of Bilum Books Phonics, Ray O'Farrell, says phonics gives you the power to decode English words, which helps children understand the letters and words.
We want to show them in our training how to use these books that we produce, these teaching tools, show them how to use our books to teach phonics or teach common words and teach the new curriculum.
Over 1,500 students have graduated from the early learning centers since its establishment 7 years ago. PNG Digital Foundation Chief Executive Officer Beatrice Mahuro says communities are really grateful for CLCs as English is not the first language they learn.
The phonics program, we believe strongly, is a really solid foundation from which they can start applying the words, the letters, to then construct the words which they can speak.
4L Training and Consultancy Director Wara Wape says the training program enables the learning centers to effectively deliver quality early childhood learning while building the skills and capacity of the students.
These are teachers who are coming with a passion. Now, from training point of view, we are coming with a package that will support that passion they have, how to teach, how to make the child to learn.
55-year-old grandmother of 8, Myra Dibura, from Abau district in the Central Province, who has been teaching at a CLC in Tuna Bay at Taurama, reveals the training will help her teach another level of phonics.
The phonics that we have gone through is written in a way that is applicable for Papua New Guineans. And most of our PNG words, pidgin words, are also included, making it very, very easy for children at an early age to understand.
15 early learning teachers in Western Highlands, Eastern Highlands and Morabe have also undergone the program. Quintina Naime, PNGTV Live.
You're watching PNGTV Live News Bulletin. More after these messages. Welcome back. You're watching PNGTV Live News Bulletin. Sorcery accusation-based violence has been the topic for many workplaces, homes, sporting grounds, and even communities. The stories have been fueled by horrific images of mostly women and girls who have been brutally abused or killed due to these accusations of practicing sorcery. Both social media and traditional media have also presented more horror than solutions of dealing with this sensitive issue. The question is now focused on, does sorcery exist and how can this be proven? Pastor Richmond Tamanabai from the CRC City Gate Tabernacle in Ley provides some clarity as Florida Gulaseni reports.
In a country like ours, rich in traditional heritage, values passed on from one generation to another, beliefs that have been built on trust and family ties, more than 800 languages spoken by unique clans, and beautiful colors of traditional styles and dances that can light up any showground, sorcery is just one of the many beliefs that still exist in our communities. Sometimes we continue to tackle without any solid proof to date. With the government, non-government organizations and normal citizens in Papua New Guinea who understand what sorcery is in general, Pastor Richmond says there is also a need to understand the religious view of sorcery.
In Papua New Guinea, sorcery is very much part of the fabric of our society. There is not a society in Papua New Guinea that would not understand what sorcery is.
With the recent sorcery accusation-based violence happenings, Papua New Guinea needs to come together and speak with one voice against the abuses and killings and not dwell too much on its existence.
Strategy which identifies the role of the government, the role of the medical service, the role of the pastors and churches, role of the communities, and we can discuss and identify and set some guidelines.
Pastor Richmond further challenged Christians to help in this spiritual battle and to work together to confront the issue.
Our nation is up in a battle of this force of darkness. The only way we will overcome and win is through the power of prayer. And this is literally what has been happening, and this is what we are challenging our villages to do now.
Florida Gulaseni, PNGTV Live.
ExxonMobil PNG hosted a thank you event for their community program partners last night at the Stanley Hotel in the nation's capital. So far, ExxonMobil has spent over 800 million kina in community partnership and programs focused on education, health, agriculture, as well as environment, civic and community support programs. Last night was a handful of those programs had a chance to tell their story at the event. The participants from over 100 organizations heard stories from a local SME empowering school boards in provinces to NGOs educating and empowering women to preserving the last species of pig-nosed turtles in the world along the Kikori River in Gulf. ExxonMobil's Managing Director Andrew Barry, in acknowledging the many development partners the company works with, stated that hearing these stories and seeing the impacts firsthand was rewarding. Barry says the leadership and dedication of the people in community organizations, government NGOs and aid agencies are what make the programs successful. Barry stated, and I quote, 2018 will be an exciting and busy year with APEC coming up, and we must continue to work together to deliver programs that are efficient, drive positive development, and will benefit the livelihood of Papua New Guineans for the long term, unquote. Some notable figures present at the event were wife of Prime Minister Linda Baba O'Neill, U.S. Ambassador to Papua New Guinea, and KPHL Managing Director Wapu Sonk. However, no members of Parliament from the 5 provinces of Hela, Southern Highlands, Western Province, and Gulf and Central were at the LNG project operates were present at the event. Since 2014, ExxonMobil PNG has invested over 820 million kina in community and infrastructure development programs focused on education, health, women's empowerment, environment, and agriculture. And just recently, our Melanesian Spearhead Group leaders visited the APEC House here at Ella Beach alongside Prime Minister and were impressed. Quintin and I met with this update.
APEC House will house high-standard conference facilities as well as office and special purpose rooms to host visiting world leaders to the APEC Summit. The MSG delegates that visited the construction site for a walkthrough included foreign ministers for Vanuatu and Solomon Islands, representatives from the Kanak Socialist National Liberation Front, and the president of the United Liberation Movement for West Papua, Benny Wenda. Solomon Islands Prime Minister Hoeni Puelai has accepted the invitation from Prime Minister Peter O'Neill to attend dialogue meetings during the APEC Forum and Leaders Summit.
There had been some talk in terms of assistance in policing, so I think the discussions are ongoing. But I think the police authorities here, I think they are looking at May or June this year for the MSG countries to send their contingents here so that they can prepare in time.
Visiting executives from leading corporate entities around the world, support staff from both government and corporate entourages, and world media will also utilize the APEC House. The Chief Executive Officer of the APEC PNG Authority, Christopher Hawkins, tells PNGTV Live the construction is halfway through completion and they are quite pleased with work done so far. The ceiling and inside walling are nearing completion and construction workers are now working on the glass walling surrounding the building.
APEC House, in fact, is ahead of schedule. We have a very committed workforce at APEC House in the construction, 83% Papua New Guinea, and so we've got a lot to be proud of in this building. And it's of a standard that from past experience at APEC, myself over many, many years, you know this building is everything that we need to have a successful meeting.
The building is being built by Global Construction at a cost of 120 million kina. Construction commenced in July 2017 and is scheduled to be completed in June in preparation for the major APEC 2018 meetings from November 12th to the 18th. Quintina Naime, PNGTV Live.
You're watching PNGTV Live News Bulletin. More after these messages. PNGTV Live News Bulletin. Barracks Market here in NCD now has an electronic ticketing system for vendors to pay in order to sell their produce. The new system was launched today as a pilot project which the National Capital District hopes to roll out to all markets in future. Gregory Avira with this report.
In the past, market management resorted to manual fee collections, but this posed a challenge when it came to accountability of the fees collected. The new system launched today hopes to eliminate such issues and provide a better way for vendors to be properly allocated a space to sell. The ticketing system is part of the Safe City, Safe Market project undertaken in partnership with NCDC and UN Women and funded by the Australian government.
I'm pleased to hear that it's all gone really so well and that it's going to be rolled out elsewhere in NCD. So congratulations to you all and thanks to the implementing partners for participating. The Australian government is really pleased to be associated with such a wonderful innovation.
Under the ticketing system, vendors can pay tukina to sell each day or register and sign a 12-week contract as a regular vendor and pay on a weekly basis. NCDC's Markets Operations Supervisor David Uki tells PNGTV Live the system will improve fee collection and ensure vendors are allocated proper space to sell.
Right now we see when this system come on, we see that there's a lot of improvement in this, and you can today you witness that the vendors are seeing that this is good because they're saving a lot of money because there's no unnecessary people coming in and giving money out like that, but they only pay straight to the office, so they take the receipt and they keep the receipt.
Uki adds this is the first market to have the system and will be installed in other designated markets depending on the success of the pilot at Boroko Market. Gregoria Vera, PNG TV Live.
And to some sporting news, while PNG Rugby League fans await the 24th of February when our very own SP Hunters take on the NRL Giants, Brisbane Broncos major sponsor SP Brewery has again reminded the old and the new players to sustain the success they have endured this last year. Following the announcement of the 29 men squad last month by Super Coach Michael Marum, he is adamant to make sure the team puts up a good performance with a new combination, while at the same time give new players a chance to build on their skills in this much sought-after sport and season.
At the top of the grandstand.
Last night was set aside for sponsors, supporters, media partners and government representatives to come together and meet the defending champions of the 2017 season, and they were impressed. While commending the team for an exciting 2017 season and welcoming the new and old players, Deputy Chairman of the SP Hunters, Tyrion McManus, says the role of the coach this year is to comfort the troubled and trouble those who are too comfortable.
In 2018, the SP Hunters will be looking for sustained success. But in 2018, the SP Hunters will become the hunted. Every other team will want to knock us off.
The new additions to the team are Baundo Abba Jr., Bobby from the Enga Miox, Ila Alu and Dilbert Isaac from the Egma Guriers and Enga Miox, Edena Gebi, PRL, Brendan Gotuno, NCDC Vipers and Egma Guriers, Patrick Moria, NCDC Vipers, Clyde Name, PRL, Junior Rao and Mackenzie Ye, Hella Wigman, and Charlie Simon and John Andy Lay Tigers, including Julius Yakopa from the Mendi Muruks. Captain Ase Boas was not present last night due to a family emergency. Forward Willie Minoga is confident with the lineup for this year and also confident that fans will not be let down.
This year play this year 2018. So we believe was a more sabat mi plan mi ball yang ball magi bla start bla sabat more. You know that mi bla sabat jada bla play bla best year bro mi plan.
The SP Hunters will go head-to-head against the Brisbane Broncos next week Saturday at the National Football Stadium. Tickets are still on sale with gates to open at 11:30 a.m. And that's where we end the bulletin for this evening. More at 7 p.m. tomorrow from myself and the news team. You have a safe weekend.